Let's look at some of the different ways to select things in Cinema 4D. So let's go ahead and make a couple cubes like this. Okay. So now we have these 3 cubes. So right now we're in the Move tool, which you can get to by pressing the E key, and we can select things by clicking on them and selecting them here in the viewport, or over here in the Object Manager. If you want to select multiple, we can click them and then hold down the Shift key and click another one. Now we have all 3 selected. But there's also a selection tool. So these tools here that you see, the live selection and the rectangle selection, the lasso and the polygon, the 2 I use the most are the live and the rectangle. And I just want to show you how these work. So unlike the Move tool, I can't click and hold things down and select multiple items. If I do, it just ends up moving it. But if we switch to the live selection, I can click through these and select all of them. See the difference there? So this will actually click and drag it, but this tool you can select multiple items by just clicking once. And with this live selection tool, you can actually change the radius. So you can make it really big and select things, or keep it smaller and select smaller things. Like that. And the rectangle selection is also really useful because you can just draw a box around the stuff that you want to select, like this. And with the rectangle selection, you can just draw boxes around the stuff that you want to select. And here's a tip, because when you're working, you're usually going to be going back and forth between the Move, Scale, and Rotate tools and the Selection tools. So a really easy way to flip back and forth is just to press the space bar. So space bar to select, space bar back to your Move tool, or our Rotate, so it'll jump back and forth to the last tool that you had. So if we had the live selection and the Rotate, it'll jump back and forth between that one, and if we're in the Scale tool, it'll jump back and forth between the Selection and the Scale tool. So I just wanted to make sure and show you that before we go any further. Now let's check out some of these menus here in the viewport, so I can show you some of the important things you might want to use from time to time to change the way things look in the viewport. So let's go ahead and make a sphere, and just go to the Move tool, look at the sphere. So let's first look at the display panel. So by default it should be on the garage shading, which will show you your scene with the lighting on if you have lights and shadows. And if we go to quick shading, you see no difference because there's no lights in the scene. But if we were to go and make a light, you see we can't even see the light. So we have to switch to garage shading, and then we see the lights and shadows. So that's what those do. And then if you actually want to see your geometry, then you would want to go to lines. You have these other options like hidden line, which shows you the mesh and the geometry lines. But a lot of times you can switch over here to lines. That's one that you're going to want to use sometimes besides the garage. And then in this option menu here, you just want to make sure your enhanced OpenGL is on. If you want to see the shadows in your scene, if you're using light and shadows, make sure this is on, or transparency, or post effects, whatever you're using. This is to turn things on and off here in the viewport. Same thing down here. This is to turn your textures on and off, or if you're using any tags that are doing something to your object, you can have these on and off. And that's it for these viewport options. That's all I wanted to show you.